Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Screen Scene Guru. Today, I'm going to be coming at you with a new Raw coverage review. This is catching up on the last two Raws on Netflix. This was February 2nd and February 9th. So, really awesome stuff to get into. This was right after the Super Bowl and right before. So, going into this real quick, I'll start off on the February 2nd. This is my coverage, the second year of covering Raw. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Make sure to leave a like in the video. It helps out a lot. Up to 86 subscribers already on YouTube. You can follow me on TikTok, Threads, Facebook, a whole lot of places. So going into this, we've got Raw results from February 2nd, 2026. Roman Reigns chooses to challenge CM Punk at WrestleMania 42. So very interesting news. We got to see Braun Breaker snapped after being attacked by a mystery assailant at the Royal Rumble. We did see that for the Masked Man appeared. And Paul Heyman actually was saying on Raw he was quite upset. Apparently Adam Pearce, the general manager from Raw, has to sign or approve of the visas before they go to Riyadh. So Paul Heyman was claiming that Adam Pearce knows the identity of the Masked Man. Very interesting stuff there. And I've seen that, Paul Heyman's been allowed to get away with his vision and their antics. Why can't Adam Pearce have his Masked Man? So going on from here, we got to see Braun Breaker wreck the announce table, basically make an ass of himself at the very beginning of the show. Then we got LA Knight unleashed a chair attack on the Vision, which was mainly Logan Paul and Big Bronson Reed, because if you guys remember, 2 months back, they ended up tsunamiing him through a car, similar to Jade Cargill, and she had a great return. So yeah, we got to see Javon Evans go up against El Grande Americana, which was very interesting. Javon Evans is great. He's from NXT. He's a superstar. He gets bouncy. We did get to see he had a bit of assistance from the original El Grande Americana. So that's very fascinating. Going on, we got to see Gunther released an ending after AJ Styles' career at Royal Rumble. He unleashed a brutal assault on Dragon Lee, and he actually hung him from the stadium, from the platform. His legs were dangling. The judges were trying to get him off him, but he basically hung him, guys. Gunther hung AJ Lee, or sorry, not AJ Lee, hung Dragon Lee. And after an explosive showing at the Royal Rumble match, free agent Oba Femi managed to get in a tag team match with the War Raiders. So very interesting. This is the first time for a while that they introduced one person up against a tag team, and that's because Oba Femi is a legend. He's taken on the Beast, Brock Lesnar, and beat him at Royal Rumble. We got to see the Bella twins are back. Brie Bella and Nikki Bella showed back up for Raw on February 2nd, which was very interesting. Talking about how they went back in the women's division. It's bigger than ever, and they feel like they're royalty, so they deserve a spot, a chance to come back. Then we got Penta defeated Big Bronson Reed by count out. So this is very interesting. Penta has been fighting the Vision for a few weeks now, almost a full year. But going into the new year, now he's finally getting assistance because Rey Mysterio was taken out during Royal Rumble. He's still on medical leave. He's got to recover from his injuries. And so we got to see LA Knight come out to help Penta against the Vision, and ended up slamming Big Bronson Reed onto the floor face first into a chair, which led to the judge counting him out. He wasn't able to manifest, get up into the ring before the count of 10. So Penta won that match, which I'm sure Paul Heyman was not expecting. Then we got to see the 2026 Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, celebrated her huge victory with Dirty Dom Mysterio, who is now, again, a 2-time belt holder. He went to the AAA down in Mexico, and he got his belt back. So he is still the 2-belt holder, the only Mysterio in history to do that. And yeah, Raquel Rodriguez talked about she didn't like the fact that Liv Morgan eliminated her at Royal Rumble. But she basically said that she's excited about her match with Stephanie Valkyrie for the Women's Intercontinental. Stephanie Valkyrie actually defeated Rachel Rodriguez in a women's Philly street fight, which was awesome. It was amazing. There was a couple of times where we weren't sure if Stephanie Valkyrie would survive. We knew she had a leg injury, but it looks like she's fully recovered from that. She pulled out full stops, all of her best moves, so that was really cool. Then going on, we got to see 2026 Royal Rumble winner Roman Reigns chose to challenge CM Punk for the heavyweight championship. Actually going into a bit of background with them. Apparently Roman Reigns talked about how he's always hated CM Punk. Very interesting. And that he felt like he's always treated him like a child. There's been this animosity towards them. Even though I think they're like around the same age. So yeah, very interesting. I know a lot of them started back in the day, 20 years ago almost. But it's funny to see them beefing up this conflict right now, because they could be going after Drew McIntyre for his title belt. But he even said on Raw, Drew McIntyre's like 3 times his size. And why would he want to go up against a mountain when he could take a lesser road? So yeah, very interesting stuff there. And we also got to see, real quick, let me go on to February 9th. So this is this week's current Raw. We got Becky Lynch challenges AJ Lee at the Elimination Chamber. So that's very exciting news. We also got to see, let's see what the match was. World Tag Team Champions Jey Usos defeated the Alpha Academy, which I was really rooting for the Alpha Academy. But it makes sense that Usos are still the best tag team in the world. Going on, Stephanie Valkyrie slapped Dirty Dom Mysterio after they got into a bit of a Spanish speak-off, if you will. Then we got to see Rhea Ripley and Lyra Valkyrie and Liv Niall in a triple threat match for the Elimination Chamber. This was a really close call because I'd say Liv Niall has been getting really good from the American Made. She's now a solo fighter, I believe. Lyra Valkyrie was trying to get her name recognized again, but unfortunately it was Rhea Ripley that ended up on top for the Elimination Chamber. Then we got to see Finn Balor demanded a title chance against CM Punk at the Elimination Chamber. He basically held up the show so that Finn Balor could get his name recognized. He's been a fighter for 20 plus years, and he feels like he's never been given the opportunities that others have been given, which is it makes sense, it's understandable. I don't know if he should have held up the whole show for it. But yeah, it was very interesting. And then Maxine Dupree went up against Natalie, and it was ended in a double count out because they both weren't in the ring. They were on top of the announce table, and Natalie had put in her cross-leg submission hold, which is very painful. So we don't really know what's going on with Natalie, besides she just wants to brutalize Maxine Dupree. But we'll see if their battling continues. She was her former mentor, who is now challenging her in the ring. So that was very interesting. So yeah, second week in a row, Javon Evans takes on El Grande Americana, the new El Grande, which I believe is Ludwig Kaiser. But he actually had help this week from the original El Grande Americana, who I believe is Chad Gable, the Olympic gold medalist. And really cool to see them battle it out. Rio and Bravo tried to get involved to help El Grande, but it ended up being Javon Evans and the original El Grande Americano defeated the Los Americanos. So that was pretty cool to see. Go up to the very beginning. Did they talk about this? So yeah, LA Knight had help from the Masked Man this week to win his title match for the Elimination Chamber. Very exciting. I'm a big LA Knight fan, and I'm glad he got his revenge on the Vision. But yeah, very interesting to see that it was Masked Man helping him out, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I talked about all this. Javon Evans. And yeah, so right at the end, LA Knight defeated Penta and Austin Theory in a triple threat match for the Elimination Chamber. And no one expected the Masked Man to come out and to assist him. But he did, and it was very awesome. So yeah, that's me caught up on Raw. Real quick, let me go into some movie notes just for you guys to get some notes down real quick. I do like to do this segment in my videos each week just to kind of get a coverage, a grasp on what's going down. So we got, let's see, a plan for a new CEO of Disney has been in play for over 2 years, apparently. They're talking about how the new setup of Disney franchise marketing and Star Wars stuff is going to be very strong for Lucasfilm. Apparently Marvel as well. They've been planning a lot. Kevin Feige discussed his main plan has been focused exclusively on Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So the other projects that are coming out, Disney Plus stuff, he's not in control over those. There are other people working on those projects. So if you feel like the quality has kind of changed a bit, that's the reason. So yeah, similar to Lucasfilm, they're going to add a man and a woman to run Disney, so they have a equal share, equal control. A lot of people are going after Disney, saying, oh, they couldn't trust the company to a woman because of the Kathleen Kennedy situation with Lucasfilm. Well, I think they're just smarter about how they wanted to manage it. Instead of giving it to one individual that can be biased or not great, they're giving it to two. They're giving it to a pair of people that will understand the decision making, the process they need to take. So that's really cool. Pirates of the Caribbean. There's Pirates of the Caribbean news. It's dropped on the Hot Mic. If you guys don't watch Roca and Jeff Schneider, I highly recommend you check out the Hot Mic. They've got information dropping every week. So apparently there's a production issue with Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently it's waiting to be shot, but the script is done. The script is ready. It's going to star alongside Margot Robbie, and they apparently want the lead, the main character, to be Jack Sparrow's son, who has yet to been cast. So we're just waiting on an announcement from that, and then apparently they're going to start shooting sometime 2026, maybe 2027. The Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. I'll call it a teaser because it wasn't really a trailer. It played at the Super Bowl. Tauntauns. We got Sam Elliott voice and narrating, which was unexpected. I wonder if they paid him right after Landman Season 2 to come over to Lucasfilm and just do a 2-minute narration for us. Sam Elliott. He's a great voice actor, great actor in general. But yeah, very interesting that this went down. Sony is developing a Ghostbusters movie, an animated movie, that is going to be dropped on Netflix. Is anyone excited about this? I know after the results of the last Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, no one was really excited about where the franchise is going, unfortunately. I would like to see this animated movie because I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters. Scream 7 had a big marketing spot during the Super Bowl. It paid the money. Paramount put out the money, so that was really cool. get my cat inside real quick. Okay, so going on to our movie news. Got my cat inside after she was meowing outside. EFM, charliexcx, will be possessed by a tortured spirit in this new Japanese horror film that's being made. So that sounds really cool. So looking forward to that. charliexcx is getting into the movie space now with her Moment being in the theaters and other things she's working on. So we've got talked about this real quick. Let's see what else. Takashimiike is the horror film director. Norman Reedus is attached, and Millie Alcock with charliexcx. So that's very interesting. I'm not exactly sure how that got worked out, but yeah, cool. The Enclave was mentioned at the end of Fallout Season 2. I still need to catch up, guys, but they did mention the Enclave. Maul Shadow Lord pop figures have been shown off on the internet, and the pop figures have revealed some pretty crucial names of the characters. Now, if you watched Star Wars Tales of the Jedi and other things, you already knew about the Inquisitor named the Crow. It's the guy with the bird mask on, which Ahsoka whoops his ass. But apparently there's a new Dathomirian that's going to be helping Maul called Icarus, or Icarus. And then, of course, the Inquisitor Crow, which were shown off as Funko Pops. Cool marketing. The toy leaks give away a lot of details sometimes, so that is cool. Lox Pratt, actor who plays Draco Malfoy from the HBO Max series Harry Potter, claims that the series will show more than the books ever did. So that's very exciting. First teaser for Scarpetta with Nicole Kidman has hit online, and it's going to be playing on March 11th on Prime Video. This is the new murder mystery with Nicole Kidman and a few other actresses, pretty big named. Yellowstone actor Cole Halsler, who is Rip, and Tulsa King Sylvester Stallone are going to be teaming up for a new series. It's going to be called Bloody Aces, a Las Vegas poker drama. So very interesting spin-offs of, well, it's not technically a true spin-off of Yellowstone. It's just the actors that work with Taylor Sheridan are making a brand new original series called Bloody Aces, which sounds really cool. I think there might be a movie titled that. I'm not exactly sure. But new J. Cole album just dropped, and I guess apparently they're praising him for his lyrical depth. So that's going on. Brand Arnold died at 47, battling cancer. Brand Arnold was, of course, the singer from Three Doors Down. Unfortunately, he'd been battling cancer for like a year now, and he unfortunately passed. So R.I.P. to Brad Arnold. Lioness and the Dutton Ranch apparently are casting for extras, filming in North Texas. So very interesting stuff here going on with the Taylor Sheridan franchise. Then we got HBO Max is developing a Baldersgate TV show. So very interesting stuff. You guys played Baldersgate online. You know it's extremely graphic, 18 plus. They've got some interesting anatomies in there. You can hook up with characters in Baldersgate as well. I don't know how much of that they'll put in the show. I mean, it is HBO Max, so of course they're going to show some nudity, violence. But yeah, Baldersgate is coming to HBO Max. So very exciting news there. Then we got Isaac Asimov, once said as a philosopher of science fiction, if we do not take care of the science fiction, its essence has become critical to our salvation if we are to survive. So essentially, the guy that made similar books, novelizations of Foundation and other things, it's Asimov, Isaac Asimov. Ray Bradbury actually made a few quotes about sci-fi, saying that the most important literature in the human history of the world is sci-fi. because we progress off of it. We are inspired by it. We try to, go forward, push beyond our barriers because of it. For All Mankind Season 2 is getting a Blu-ray release for physical media. This is only the first 2 seasons are available for physical media. Season 1 is available on Blu-ray and 4K in England, in London. And it's also available on Blu-ray here in the US. Now, Season 2 is coming out, so very excited about that. It has taken them a long while to come out with a second season on Blu-ray disc. No news about this second season being on 4K yet. And of course, there's no news on Season 3 and 4 either. But I'd very much like to have those in my collection. Tron Ares hits the top disc chart of physical media. That's on Blu-ray.com and Blu-ray 4K disc sales. Tron Ares is just on top of the world. I don't know if that's because of the legacy IP of it all. I mean, they are selling the 3-disc set at Walmart. I saw recently the original Tron Legacy and then Tron Ares, which that might be contributing to the disc sales. But yeah, Kirk McConnell gave a great speech about current problems with the forward momentum of disclosure. He talked about whistleblower protections and how a lot of people are afraid of losing their pensions, their jobs, fighting the government to get back their clearances. And he talked about the difficulties of you can't take on a second job. You can't even be looking for work when you're trying to get your clearance back from the government. So there's a lot of things that are really rough, very overly difficult to get done in the government, especially if you're fighting to whistleblow, like a lot of people are. Lawrence Fishburne was talking about Disclosure Day with Steven Spielberg. Apparently he's been attached to the film. I didn't even know that he was attached, but he was recently in an interview talking about, they said it was science fiction. He called it science fact. So this isn't the only time we've heard that term used. We've heard that term used a couple of times. For instance, they're doing a, what's his name? I'm trying to think of the guy who just shot F1. Josh Krasinski. Krasinski's doing a UFO movie where his exact quote was, we're learning from whistleblowers, we're learning from government insiders, and they're telling him it's not science fiction, it's science fact. So, very interesting to hear those terms used a lot. So yeah, I talked about Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's 7 now. They're on 7 Pirates, with a lady role potential. Margot Robbie could be in it. And then, of course, Insidious 6 is happening, guys, because, of course, this is part of the horror film franchise. They want to keep going. The family will go to the astral plane, apparently, in this next film. The entire family, not just the mom or the dad looking for their kid. And apparently the story is, there's actually two stories. So there's the Insidious 6 that's happening, officially greenlit. It's being shot. And then there's another story called Thread, An Insidious Tale. Now this is a story about a couple that loses their daughter. And apparently they go inside the beyond, or the nether, whatever you want to call it, the astral plane, to find their dead daughter. And apparently they've set up things before in the Insidious universe, that basically time travel is available and other things. But this sounds very much like they're going to resurrect the daughter, and she's not going to be quite right, like the dad was in the original Insidious, or similar to Pet Sematary. You can't resurrect people without something bad happening as a result. So that's very interesting. Then the rights to Ghostface are being currently debated over there at Paramount, because I guess there was a guy who came up with the original mask, and then the director who chose that mask. It's a common Halloween mask before it was ever a horror, iconic horror element used in films. So the director chose to use this mask that was popular, but now I guess the studio, Paramount, is having to pay whoever developed the design of the mask to keep the rights. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to make any more Scream movies. That's kind of why the issue with the MTV Scream TV show, how the mask different, that was actually like stipulation in the contract of the show. They couldn't make it look like the original Ghostface. And now they're facing similar problems now. They can't even get the rights to the original Ghostface without paying a shitload of money. So, they're just going to have to pay it. And they've got the money. Paramount's got the money. They've got the Ellisons have a whole lot of data on everybody. Dan Trachtenberg set to reboot a classic franchise for Paramount now that he's leaving the Predator franchise. People have thrown out the terms like Terminator franchise, Transformers, perhaps even TMNT. We're not sure. Dan Trachtenberg hasn't said what he wants to do next. But he started his work at Sony, or Paramount, so now he's going back, so maybe that does good things for his future. Spider-Man 4 update, they said Treman Tillman was set to play William Nextler, who is apparently a mutant persecutor, so someone that does not like mutants. This is kind of setting up the events of this next phase after Secret Wars. We're supposed to be getting the mutant saga, so that's kind of cool. I have been watching Lost in Space Season 3, which is pretty good, on Netflix. Trying to get into some space adventure stuff. Looking forward to Project Hail Mary coming out. For All Mankind is returning in March, so I'm just looking for space stuff on Netflix. Lost in Space is pretty good. Check it out. Going on, video footage was released from Nancy Guthrie's home of her supposed abductor. Very shocking that, it's been over 10 days and the FBI just now chose to release this footage. Yeah, let's see. Stranger Things, The First Shadow is a Broadway play that they're going to shoot for Netflix, which sounds very cool. It's going to be about Henry Creel and the experiments that the government did to essentially open up a gate, the first gate to the Upside Down. So that should be cool. More images of spidernoir have come out from Amazon. 1930s looking, Nicolas Cage as Spidernoir. So that's cool that it's in development. It's almost done. It looks like it's coming out soon. The Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser is going to be out. It hits theaters May 19th, 2028. So very interesting stuff there. Brandon Gleeson will play Silvermate in Spidernoir. So they've got new villains being introduced. Silvermate. Dr. Jacques Vallée clarifies E.T.'s breathe air, our own air. So that was very interesting to hear the French UFO E.T. expert claim that he's heard from doctors that these things do in fact breathe our air. They have organs that are very similar to ours. He's also talked about how much we depend on AI. Apparently Jacques Vallée, who has been in this field for years, decades, talks about how the governments of the world depend on AI, very much so. They depend on it to decipher code that they get from these things. George Knapp files about Russia UFO crafts, showing that these stories sound a lot like the same occurrences here in the West. There was a story of a giant jellyfish being spotted that was like over 300 feet tall. Very interesting. Sounded like it came from the ocean. Eric Burleson claimed a new whistleblower is coming out that has first-hand knowledge as well. Matt Laszlo from Askapol has the intel on government scoops in Washington, D.C. He's been interviewing Congress people, trying to get them to disclose what they know about the UAPDA. Current whistleblowers are asking for their NDAs to be absolved by President Trump. And let's go on. Let's see how much more we've got. Mike Flanagan's next Stephen King reboot will be The Mist. So very interesting to hear that they're talking about this project. It was kind of controversial, both the movie in 2007, and then they did a one-season revival, which was like The Next Town Over. And I liked the show better than the movie, but it wasn't good enough to reboot, I don't think. But maybe the story may have more relevance now with the files of portals and different government shady things going on. It might make more sense to release it now. Jason Momoa says he doesn't know when his character Lobo will return to the DCU after Supergirl. As far as he's aware of, Supergirl is the only project he's attached to. We just heard this morning that he's going to be in the live-action Helldivers. So Jason Momoa is going to be in Helldivers, for everybody that loves that game. Sir Ian McKellen was in an interview recently where he slipped a quote, I recently destroyed New Jersey. And then he said, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Most likely filming on Doomsday going on. Magneto leveling Jersey would be very cool to see. Hey! Rumor that is going around that Book of Boba Fett will get a season 2. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out. Maybe do the Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau now having more control over some things. They'll make it more like Boba Fett is. But yeah, that'd be cool to see after, that last season wasn't too good. And freaking the actor has been in a lot of stuff. They've been in Wrecking Crew with Jason Momoa and, what's his name? Batista. So, yeah, the actor that plays Boba Fett has been in things, so he should come back to do another show. He's even said on social media, where's my season 2? Jack Hudson talks about playing Sandman in the upcoming Spidernoir, so they're getting quite a few villains for this show. Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair is going to be on digital February 17th, so that's very interesting. Marty Supreme apparently is the highest grossing A24 film of their, studio's career, and Timothy Chalamet's. Last of Us Season 3 update, likely the end of the story, which we've heard from the creators before, that the third season will be the end. Most of Kevin Feige's focus is on Doomsday Secret Wars, talked about that. So let's go on to our last bit of movie notes. Michael, full trailer dropped, and it looked good, I liked it. God of War casting, Colm Vincent to play Atreides. So very interesting. They got the same kid, the little boy, who's going to play Jason Voorhees in A24's Crystal Lake, to play Atreides in Amazon's God of War. So that's really cool. We didn't know who Atreides was going to be playing. We got it. And apparently Alistair Duncan will play Mimir from the game, the severed head of Mimir, which is cool. That's like the only person from the game that I think has been confirmed to be a voice actor. And then we got the two trolls, or the two, I guess they're like, I think they're trolls. Danny Woodburn as Brock, and Jeff Gulka as Sindri, and he's supposed to be the germophobic one. So that's cool. Spielberg got his EGOT, and Christopher Nolan as well, Film Acting Award. EGOTs, they're kind of these things they hand out at a weird time in the year, and nobody really expects a big presentation or anything, but they're film awards for people that have done historic works in film. The door camera of Nancy Guthrie, like I said, the FBI chose to release this clip of the supposed abductor, who used a bit of flowers to cover up the door cam before it was disconnected. Some people are claiming this is magic, using some form of magic, which is very interesting. Real quick, I do want to dive into some physical media real quick. Showed off that last season Yellowstone a couple videos back. Well, I never got to show the art cards. So, boom. Here is the envelope, Yellowstone official, that you get when you buy the last season of Yellowstone. I'll just show off real quick art cards. We've got Casey and Monica. She's very sweet. And they've all got quotes on the back too. This one is, I ain't gonna let yesterday's ride be my last one. It's not my fault, it's my problem. Quotes from both of them, which is nice. We got to see the Bunkhouse Boys, which is sweet. It's a nice commemorative postcard, and it says, bring me back to the bunkhouse. So that's very nice. You get to see Beth. Beth is like the lead kind of star in the last season, because her brother kind of turns heel on the family. I am Rattlesnake. Yeah, that's her quote. Then we got Rip, really cool character. He also was taking a major lead, kind of making up for the Kevin Costner lessness of the show. Rip's quote is, "Cowboys don't say goodbye." And then another picture of Rip, which is kind of interesting. They gave him 2 art cards in this, and they say, "Ride like it's your last time, because one day you'll be right." So, very interesting. And there's, of course, Casey and Monica again. No art card for Kevin Costner. So they really did pay him dust in this last season, which was kind of interesting. Put these art cards up real quick. But yeah, it was... I thought they were going to, at least show him off a little bit, but they chose not to put him on the cover. They didn't put him in the art cards, which was, wow, kind of fascinating. But he did make an appearance. Kevin Costner was at Super Bowl 60, and he was, like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" So I think he'll get work somewhere along the line. I don't know if his Horizon films are still in development. He did plan on doing a trilogy. We know the first film got done. I have it on Blu-ray. It's on Netflix, if you guys are into westerns. I'm just not sure if he'll ever do the second or third one. But this will be my video for tonight. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow the channel if you haven't already, for more content coming down the line. Until next time, bye-bye. Have a good one. Alrighty, signing off.